Attention span. All about the attention span. You know, we could put our attentions on anything. We could put our attentions on Netflix. We could put our attention on unhealthy escapes. But, you know, our life is dictated by what we actually put our attention on. And let's face it, our attention is super crucial and it does indeed mold our life. This is Mario from Voices of Victory channel and I'm your host. Don't forget to click on the link below to go to my Patreon page. And today's episode is the moment that I realize attention is a choice. And of course, it is not a reaction. I'm going to explain it. So I was outside one day and I was literally just staring out into the open, doing absolutely nothing. I was actually waiting for somebody and I was looking at a car window. And that was a moment where my focus actually split into two for the first time. And the only thing I was able to understand it in connection to was the art world, being able to look at a vase from 7 different perspectives. And in this case, it was completely different because inside the car I was looking at, I could clearly see a woman sitting there in the passenger side. But at the exact same time, I could see a tree that was reflected on the glass from the street behind me. And that reflection was really clear, that it was a bit of work to actually see through the tree to actually see the woman. So it was weird. I realized I could actually choose which reality felt more real just by shifting where I actually put my focus. And my first thought was, well, I can pay attention to the reflection, but the reflection pretty much is an illusion. It's just a reflection of light. It's not real. It's just a reflection. But the woman in the car was actually real at that point. So I was able to choose which reality felt more real, all by just choosing where I wanted to put my focus at that point in time. So what we call reality isn't just everything happening in front of us all the time. It's actually just whatever our brain decides to care about in the moment. Attention isn't something that just happens to you. It's more like an active filter that is unfolding every single day, and it absolutely creates your world second by second. To put it simply, your brain gets away with more information that it can actually deal with. So it uses a filtering system that works like a flashlight or a spotlight. So my eyes were there, and it took in both the woman and the tree. But my attention, the system of my attention in my brain, specifically the prefrontal cortex of the brain, it decided at that moment which one got priority. So there is also a thing called the reticular activating system that helps flag what's important enough to actually make it into your conscious mind. Nothing about the window changed. My brain just changed what it was actually highlighting and looking at. So this is basically a mix of selective attention and something called perceptual switching. And you could do this in an art gallery or a museum where you switch your perception from one object to another. So your mind can actually hold different versions of the same scene, but you can only really experience one of them clearly at a time. And I was flipping back and forth between two pieces: the external layer of the woman inside of the reflective vehicle or the reflection on the vehicle itself. So at that point, my awareness was basically the remote control between the two. I got to choose. That was a moment of epiphany of, wow, I get to choose what I wish to see and where I get to drive it. Now, most people think they're actually seeing both per se. They might be thinking they're seeing the world exactly as it is, but you don't see things as they are. You see things as you are. You're actually seeing it through your own filtered expectations or whatever you are actually prioritizing. That's how it goes. And at that car window, I wasn't just looking at two different things. I was watching how fast my entire experience of my world could actually flip from one to the other when I chose at that moment what I wanted to notice. So if attention is what creates your reality, then being distracted isn't just an annoying thing. It's a way of losing control over your perception. And most people aren't seeing things wrong. They just aren't choosing what they have to look at or what they want to look at. So their attention is being pulled around by everything else instead of directing it and choosing it. So you can actually train yourself to handle this better. You can start by noticing when your brain zooms in on one version of a story or an idea really quick. And then you could ask yourself, what else is happening that maybe you can't see or you're ignoring? Because if you slow down your attention enough, you can start to see that other piece of what's actually going on before you actually jump to conclusion. So the moment at that car window wasn't a big deal to the rest of the world. It wasn't a big deal because of what I saw. It was a big deal because it proved and gave me back my agency, the power of choice, the power of agency. It proves something simple, that reality doesn't just show up. It actually appears all around us, but it's all based on wherever you let your attention stay. And that's all I'm going to say on this episode. Don't forget to click the Patreon link below in order to grow together with me on this channel. Take care.